everyone, and welcome to this special episode of the Unfiltered Wrestling Podcast. It's Saturday, and we're just hours away from the Crown Jewel PLE. So joining us as my his team. Good morning, team. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad. It's good to see you. Finally to be back on chat.
Yes, no, I missed you over the last couple of weeks. As we said good morning because here in the UK, we're getting a 1 p.m. start time for Crown Jewel because it's in Australia. So we've just decided to go up a bit extra early on this Saturday and bring you our thoughts. So we've got a 5-match card. Tim, which match do you want to start with?
Shall we go with the big belt, like the body belt? And we'll go with the men's first, shall we?
Yeah, I thought obviously they keep going on about this ring, but obviously on the kickoff show yesterday when they had the out on stage, like you said, it looked like it was needed off a t-shirt.
These things are massive, absolutely massive. And SmackDown started off with a package of them transporting the belts from Riyadh to Perth. They're obviously giant, big props, which we obviously get. But, like, I think that it's just pointless. Why are we making package videos? We understand they're props. They're just going to be lifted. They're going to have them like they can only see that part of their body afterwards. And then we'll go on, they'll go back to Riyadh and we'll wait till next year.
It's the wrestling version of the Olympic torch. Now, obviously, 3 weeks ago, I had my little concerns of how they're going to build a quick match over 3 weeks, but they've actually done quite a good job, haven't they?
Yeah, no, this for me has been one of their better builds of late. You and I have said that WWE have been on a bit of a downturn of late. This for me is a pickup. I like the fact the watch. By the way, the watch is going to play into this. I've been saying this to you. The watch is going to play into this. But the actual build itself has been really good. I even like the fact that the kickoff show had something as well. And then Cody's promo on SmackDown is really showing just how well these two guys go together. They are literally the best wrestlers in the company right now.
Yeah, totally agree. And do you reckon... See, so I've got a couple of thoughts. Obviously, this stuff going on with Seth and Paul, and I know you're going to say in a minute, because we spoke about this off camera, you think this is a big ruse. WWE have been putting things in plain sight. So the fact that they're teasing Paul and Seth split, Paul and Seth, in my opinion, are probably going to split. Now, I'm debating whether he's going to go back to Roman and get involved in that storyline with the Bonds, because obviously they're fighting on the card as well. Or are we going to see an appearance from Brock? I think the way I'm going to judge this later on is if this match goes on last, which it probably will do because it's the big title fight, that will then leave the time. I reckon Brock showing up maybe to smash up the watch or something. I agree the watch is going to play into it, but I think so's Paul Heyman and possibly Brock Lesnar.
Okay. Well, what I'll discuss firstly is this is either the finisher or the starter of the PLE, right? And if it's the starter, Cena AJ is the main event, which I don't think there's going to be. I think we're going to see Seth and Cody headlining again. The story's good. The match will be fantastic. Both these guys have got great chemistry with each other. I, on the other hand, think we are looking at a big ruse, and Seth is going to win this match, but he's going to do it because Heyman helps him. There's no other way this match will end for me. They've been building this up. This is just a Vince Russo switcheroo. It's just, for me, it's the only way it can go.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Seth's going to win. I hope Seth wins because I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit with the Seth and Becky stuff with the AJ Pope because they made Seth into a sort of weak champion, in my opinion, where he was putting his wife. And I know that's what heels do, but I really like Seth's character development over the last 3 weeks. The doubting himself, the asking Cody what you think of me, this watch thing. As I brought up before, but it's a little thing I can let go. where's this watch appeared from all of a sudden? He hasn't worn it for 3 years, and now it's a big part of the story. But it's a good little angle, and I really love this build-up. And hopefully when Cody does drop the belt, because we think he's going to drop it by the end of the year, he can jump over to Raw and they can have this feud again leading into WrestleMania.
No, I don't think he's going to WrestleMania. I think we're going to go somewhere else with him. I foresee Seth winning this match. I imagine it's with the help of the Bronze. I think it's because Seth actually deserves this. I mean, I know we're all saying that Cody has been the face of the company. He's the face of the company. He's the guy front and center. He is Mr. WWE. But while Cody was off in AEW, Seth carried the company for large periods of that time, and he did such a damn good job on what was a weak product. I think we can both agree. If it wasn't for Seth, I think we'd be in a lot worse of a situation. So for me, he needs to get this win. He deserves it. I think it's just the way in which you've got to tell that story properly.
You know, totally agree. So, like we said, we thought that's either going to be match 1 or the last match. Probably what's going to be sort of co-main event is the Ladies' Championship. How do you see this one going?
So right up until SmackDown yesterday, I was convinced that this is Stephanie Vaquer. She's got this in the bag. This is an easy story to tell. She needs the victory. She needs to tell that. And then SmackDown turned around and said she has not been beaten this year. And my brain went, are they going to keep it undefeated for the whole of the year? Is this where we're going to go? Is she going to drop the belt at Rumble? And I was like, oh. So I'm going to go with Stephanie Vaquer, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tiffany wins just to keep her going.
No, I agree. I think Tiffany's going to win. One, because like you said about it's been nice to give her a little streak, but I also think WWE or the powers that be have really put all their eggs into Tiffany. And again, I think this is just a stopping point in her longer story. We do know that with some people, WWE do like long-time storytelling, and I think this is going to play a big part into Tiffany's bigger picture. So I think Tiffany's keeping the win.
My problem with that is, who's next after this for Tiffany? There's literally no one else. She's mowed her way through the heavyweights in the women's division. Where do you go next? You need to start building up SmackDown stars, and that's going to take time. So she could get away with losing and still be fine, as long as she's cutting reasonable programs and we start building somebody up roughly to a level so that when she knocks them back down, it doesn't feel like, oh, Tiffany's on the card, Tiffany's going to win. My next problem is, what are they doing with her next?
I've got a horrible feeling that we're going to slip back into a Nia and Jade triple thing. I think they're going to carry that on.
Yay. No, that's a bad idea. Right? We've done this. We've done the Jade. The story is done. There should be nothing else to come out of this. Let's move on. And that's where I think you get into the problems. I think with what happened on SmackDown, you're going to have Zelina Vega now turn heel. It's good for a character. The development will improve her, but it's going to take them ages just to build her up. The only way in which you'll get some reasonable heat against Tiffany is if somebody scores a roll-up pin on her. And if that happens, then all the work we've done with her anyway has been completely wasted. So Tiffany doesn't need to win for me unless you've got the story you're keeping for 100% for the rest of the year. And yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. For me, Stephanie needs to win. She needs to start looking like a strong champion so that when she does lose the belt, and I think she will, this isn't a long-term champion. Her first reign won't be. I think that's the story we tell afterwards.
No, I agree. Yeah, we'll just wait and see what pans out. This is the problem. It's a nice idea to have your champ versus champs, But because it is two brands, it doesn't help develop the storyline. It's like we said the other week, everything goes on pause really for this event, and then things pick up again. So it's hard to work out what moving forward when it comes to the champs based off of this show, because it really has nothing to do with their storylines.
Yeah, we're looking at short-sightedness. I think there's difference with the men's and the women's, because I think we know where we're going. Certainly when it comes to Seth that way, I think it just happens to be the SmackDown champions. There doesn't seem to be a lot around for them. So I think this is a problem.
Yeah, obviously we've had Cody Drew sort of teased that they could revisit. I don't think it was a one and done at Palooza. I think people just want to forget about Palooza anyway, so I think they will re-pick that off there.
Yes, let's all please forget about Wrestling Palooza. I don't want to think too long and hard about it at all.
I think, I was going to say this at the end, but I think this is what's worrying me a bit now, because we had the letdown of Wrestling Palooza. This Crown Jewel could be great, and either it is going to be great or it's going to be a letdown. I think a lot of us are worrying that's going to be another letdown.
I think the card is actually very good. I think, and if they do keep it to 5, I said to you before we started recording, if they do add another match, it'll get really wonky. I think we keep it at 5 matches. If you can keep it under 3.5 hours, please, because I need to stop. Like, I need some life. Less than 3.5 hours, please. No, but if you can keep it under that amount of time, 5 matches should be fine. The pacing should be all right. It shouldn't feel rushed at all unless we have any unforeseen injuries, I think, if we're honest.
Great matches. Obviously, we have the women's tag match. Now, this has got potential to be match of the night.
Yeah, I'm with you. These 4 women are probably 4 of the best wrestlers in the world. I think Kairi Sane is highly underrated. Right? She's great. She knows what her role is. She knows she's never going to win the women's title, but she's so comfortable in the ring. It's unreal. So we've got the Kabuki Warriors versus Io Sky and Rhea. As I said, potential to be match of the night. This one is so hard to pick. Really is for me.
I'm only going to go with Rhea because it's Australia and she's the hometown girl. It's like her homecoming. I'm worried that we're going to get like the cheesy ending, as in the feel-good moment. I think Rhea and Io still need that little bit of tension because Io's always beaten Rhea, and they were heading down that route until they brought this storyline in, and I thought that was a good route to head down. I don't want it just to be all big hugs and kisses at the end after they win, because they get that feel-good moment because we're in Australia and Rhea's the homecoming girl. I think that's what we're going to get.
So if Rhea wins, she pins Kairi Sane. There's no way she pins Asuka. They're pinning quite a lot on this Io-Asuka feud, which for me is the right thing to do. This is the feud I want to see in the whole of WWE. So you would need to protect Asuka, and the way in which you do that is Kairi's got to eat the pin from Rhea. If, as you say, Rhea's got to pick the pin, and I think you're right. I think Rhea is the person. I would really, really enjoy Asuka pinning Io Sky to help build that feud, but I don't think WWE have got the bottle to try that.
And talking about another match where the storyline's developing well, we've got Roman Reigns versus Mr. Bron Breakker. How do you see this one going?
Where do I begin with this match? To be honest, Roman's going to beat him in a last. Is it a last? Oh, it's a street fight. Another street fight.
Yeah,
brilliant. Typical. More street fights. Yeah, I think he's going to win. The Usos are going to be involved. I wouldn't be surprised if we only see Jimmy involved.
I think Jimmy is definitely going to cost Roman, even with what happened on Raw. I think Jimmy is annoyed. All comment of like what Roman said to Jimmy, like, why can't I give him advice? I think that's going to sit with Jimmy, and we definitely know, because it is a street fight, that there is going to be shenanigans, and I think Jimmy's costing Roman.
The story I would tell is I'd only have Jimmy come out to support Roman, and Jay say, look, I need to look after myself, and Roman go, wait, get your head in check. This is a family business. This is what you need to do. And maybe that brings Jay back in line. The only other way in which they do this is they finally name the fourth member of the Vision that we've been speculating for months.
Brock Lesnar. No, I'm joking.
Right, you say that. Whilst he might not be a member, we've got War Games coming up.
Yeah.
That is a way in which you get Brock in. We've been talking about what do you do for War Games. This would be the one to do. This would be the story to tell. There would be another Brock and Roman match, and I think we're all bored of those.
But is Brock not just a WrestleMania season guy now? Do you think he's really going to come back for War Games? Or he's not chilling out till January?
So I've got to look at it like this. What's the story you need to tell in War Games? If it's Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, which probably makes sense. I mean, if I'm really... No, okay. Your options are for WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, I was going to say before we go on to WrestleMania, I think we're looking at War Games completely different now after the last couple of SmackDowns. I think War Games is going to be the Wyatt 6 MFT. I think that's leading War Games. I think we've been looking at for Seth and Punk and Roman and the Usos. I think that none of that's going to... I think we are getting a Wyatt 6 MFT, especially after SmackDown yesterday.
So my concern with that is the Wyatt 6 have 5 members, and Nikki Cross is one of those. Plus, Bo Dallas was missing from SmackDown
for the last 2 weeks. But I just don't know. I've got a feeling just the way that ended. I don't know, and the fact they brought back Tonga, we're getting the New Japan face they're bringing them back bigly for a reason, and the only reason I can think of is War Games.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it, and SmackDown would be the right way, but that would have to open the show. That's the War Games that have to open the show, and the women's match would have to close it. And I can't see the big story for the women's division. The women's division at the moment feels very stagnated. It doesn't feel like we're getting very far at the moment.
Right, so before I brought that up, you was about to talk about WrestleMania, what the options are for WrestleMania, to why you think things with Roman and Jimmy and stuff are going to happen.
So, we've got 2 options, and I assume we're saying Seth keeps the belt till WrestleMania.
Yeah. Great.
We've got Roman Reigns on one hand, and we've got CM Punk on the other. Now, they're not going to do another triple threat for the belt. That's just not... It's not going to work. What you have to do then is you've either got to choose Seth versus Roman Reigns or Seth versus CM Punk. And the other one has to be the loser at the Rumble. And it's the story you need to tell to get to both Mania and Rumble from War Games.
Throwing a massive curveball with Punk and Heyman's relationship, could Punk be the 4th member of the Vision? Because the LA Knight stuff that's going on, that would be a massive, shocker. That would be probably more shocking than John Cena turning heel.
You tried to sell me this idea several months ago, and I told you, no, it's not going to happen. But he's just too over. You need a guy either that's a mid-carder that they want to step up, or somebody that you could get away with turning heel easily, and I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've heard rumblings on the internet that this story is laid out for a year or 2 with Roman, which we know these guys have done before and done brilliantly. So it's really hard when you know it's a long-term story. It's really hard to start second-guessing the twists and the turns, which makes it more enjoyable as a fan, but does also make it frustrating because we do like to sit here and think we can work things out. And I think when it comes to Roman storylines that we know he's involved in for a long time, we just ain't got no clue where it's coming from.
No. So I'm going to go for this match. I'm going to go for a Roman win.
And I'm going for a Roman loss, but I don't know how.
They're just going to protect Roman. If he is involved in some sort of match, he's got to start picking up some wins. Although, if I'm honest, so the division, because their win-loss record isn't great at the moment.
And then, obviously, that brings us up to the last match, the worst sort of kept secret match. We've got a tweet build up thinking, oh, yeah, this would be a great match. And then it turns out this has been in the pipeline for months anyway. As we know, AJ did say on the kickoff show yesterday that he's retiring in 2026. So that's made me think, and I know we discussed this earlier, that AJ might actually pick up the win.
Oh, you didn't say that yesterday. You did not.
No.
You were with me. I think Cena gets to the big 1-0-0 in PLE victories. His last show is at Saturday Night Main Event.
On December the 13th.
He's got 2 other shows, and I think we're done. I think this is a Cena victory because this is his last PLE. So this will bring him up to the 100.
No, I still think AJ. See, I do agree they're going to try and do that, and I totally agree with what we were talking about yesterday, that so we'll lose his last match. You said that, and we all know the old guard like to go out on their back when they're leaving. Flair did it against Shawn Michaels. So, yeah, I do agree with you. To get his 100, he's got to win. But I just feel like he's got enough respect for AJ to allow AJ to win, as AJ's got like 6 or 7 months left now.
I think AJ is going to pick up a few wins. And having seen Shinsuke Nakamura back, yay!
Oh, yeah. With old music.
That's a match. Yes, that, I want to see that match one more time. Please, let's just do that. Let's do it properly this time. Let's have an old school New Japan match. Please, let's build that story. But I think they're turning like Shinsuke face again, so who knows?
I think you've swung the pendulum back for me. I'm now going to agree with you. Cena's going to win tomorrow, get his 100th in Australia.
Yeah, I don't think AJ's too bothered about the win. They've got great chemistry. I think AJ can carry him to a reasonable match.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, Tim, that's our thoughts. And we'll find out in a couple of hours. So I know we mentioned it earlier, but do you think this is going to be a good PLE? Like we said, I think the card's got potential to make sure it's a good PLE.
Yeah, I think that's the key bit. The card's got potential. Whether it's thrown away or not is completely up to the WWE nowadays. I'd love to say no, they've got this in the bag. They're fine, but no, I don't think that's going to. I think we'll get 3 good matches, a really questionable street fight, and maybe 2 reasonable matches with the Cena AJ. That's the one that worries me the most, if I'm honest.
And as it is a prediction show, and I haven't done this before, I'm going to get you to predict what you think is going to be Tim's match of the night and Tim's top talent, and then we'll see if you can say anything different after the show.
Oh, throw a curveball. My prediction for match of the night will be the women's tag match. That's going to be fire, if I'm honest. My top talent, I think, is going to be Seth Rollins. I think he's going to have fooled a lot of people out there, and this is the story we're going to hear.
Other than the falling, I totally agree with you. I still think he's going to be the top talent of the night. Well, Tim, we've only got a couple of hours to find out, and I will see you for our review show.
Yeah, Lee, I'll see you for the review show.